News, more money for defense, but less for the arts and the environment.
Yes.
Are there any surprises here, or is this typical for a Republican administration?
Well, I think it's not a surprise because Donald Trump said he would do it just this way. So to the extent that he is coming through on a campaign promise saying, I'm going to take care of the defense budget, I'm going to protect the United States, and I'm going to take care of our veterans, he's done all of that. But it's the beginning of a process. So a lot of the concerns that you're hearing are going to be ironed out through the process. I mean, there are going to be winners and losers here, though.
There are some people who are upset about the potential elimination of PBS, NPR, taking away money from the arts. And I was listening to the budget director talk, and he was saying, okay, you tell me, what am I supposed to tell a steel worker in the Midwest that I'm going to take money from your paycheck to pay for PBS and NPR? I just thought that was an interesting discussion because it gives you a different frame of reference.
Absolutely. It's about choices. That same interview talked about, I can make a convincing case that I should put more money towards defense, but you know, maybe some of the arts have to suffer a little bit. Again, not weighing in on the rights or wrongs of it, but you only have so much money and choices have to be made. So three of the big agencies, if you want to say are winners, 12 have to give up some of their money to...
and those three agencies all deal with veterans and security.
And security and national defense, yeah.
Let's talk about the health care bill now. There's so much to talk about. President Trump last night said he still thinks he can hammer out an agreement with House Republicans. House Speaker Paul Ryan said today he thinks that they are making progress. It passed the House Budget Committee today, but 3 Republicans voted against it, sided with Democrats. Where do you think it goes? Do you think they have a chance of passing this?
Well, as I've said a number of times, this idea that all Republicans think alike and all Democrats think alike just isn't what happens in Washington, D.C. So this all comes down to how everybody is taken care of in the process. 3 Republicans did have issues with it, and that's going to have to get solved at some point. And you know, we might say, hey, every Democrat's going to be against it, but I've said for a while, Donald Trump has to also bring together the Republican Party. Not all Republicans agree with him.
So many things to talk about. Let's talk about the wiretapping issue. Yep. President Trump saying that President Obama approved wiretapping of Donald Trump's Trump Tower during the election. I don't understand what the upside is for President Trump. He's said this. He's taken a ton of heat. He hasn't come out with any evidence. You have both Democrats and Republicans saying there is absolutely no evidence of this at all. Why would Donald Trump stick to a story? Why not just say, you know what, I made a mistake and move on?
That's what I'd do. You know, bottom line is he is a bulldog in the sense of not backing off of certain positions. And at some point, this story's going to go away because there's just nothing to it. But Donald Trump doesn't seem like he's going to quit talking about it.
Well, not at least for 2 more weeks, because he said we're going to hear some more stuff coming up in the next couple of weeks.
You know, in fairness, we've heard that a lot for, 22 months. Just wait.
It just doesn't seem like there's any upside.
No, why would you? Yeah, right. I mean, if he had the smoking gun, produce it and get on with it. Otherwise, move on to a different subject.
Kind of gumming up the wheels here.
Absolutely, yes. and his stuff spills over into other things. You know, when he's spending time talking about wiretapping instead of the national budget or whatever, he does himself a disservice.
Okay, let's talk about the travel ban. Judges in Maryland and Hawaii ruled to block the revised version of the travel ban. The president said last night that he's going to go all the way to the Supreme Court, and he wishes that he would have had the first version, not the second, more watered-down version.
Well, he's got to now move it through the courts. I can't see how they could recraft another order and roll it back out, because somewhere in this country a federal judge or a group of federal judges is going to strike it down. So he's got only a couple of pathways, and one of them is to just start testing it, get it knocked down, keep appealing it until it gets to the Supreme Court.
But this would be tough for him to give up on. This was one of his main campaign promises.
Absolutely, but he could expand it to include other countries, or he can fight it out until he gets to the Supreme Court, or frankly, the Congress of the United States could enact a law that takes all of this into account.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what he does, because he is not one that wants to double or back down. He wants to double down.
Well, and we see that with wiretapping, going back to the previous subject.
Right. Yeah. Ryan, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Well, our coverage continues on KTVU Fox 2 News at 6:30 with a look at